Endlich, nach 7 Jahren harter Arbeit, habe ich das Geheimnis der Vererbung gefunden. Es besteht aus 2 Gesetzen, dem Gesetz der Trennung und dem Gesetz der unabhängigen Sortimentierung. Das Gesetz der Segregation besagt, dass ein Merkmal durch 2 Faktoren bestimmt wird, die zusammenwirken. Das Gesetz der unabhängigen Sortimentierung besagt, dass die Vererbung eines Faktors nicht die Vererbung des anderen Faktors bestimmt. Toll. Jetzt muss ich mir eine andere Möglichkeit überlegen, meine Zeit im Kloster zu verbringen. Wo bin ich?
Welcome to modern genetics.
Was?
Your research on heredity has spawned a whole field in biology.
Warte, du hast meine erste Frage immer noch nicht beantwortet.
There is much to cover to catch you up. First of all, we now use different terms than the ones you used. What you called factors are now called alleles. Alleles are different values that a gene can have. A gene is a list of instructions for life that determine a trait. A chromosome is comprised of the genes of the entire organism, wrapped up into a form that can be duplicated easily. The actual genes are made up of DNA, which is the chemical that life uses to store instructions on how to exist. We call an allele that can express its trait with only one copy dominant, and an allele that must have 2 copies recessive. The genotype of an organism represents the alleles that the organism has for a specific trait. We notate them using big and little letters, usually with the big letter standing for the trait expressed by the dominant allele. A genotype is heterozygous when it has 1 dominant allele and 1 recessive allele. 1 big letter and 1 little letter. A genotype is homozygous when it has either both dominant or both recessive, 2 big or 2 little letters. A phenotype is the resulting expressed trait based on the genotype. As an example taken from your pea experiments, the allele for wrinkly peas is recessive and the allele for smooth peas is dominant. Now, we have noticed some behavior in heredity that hasn't been fully explained by your laws, so we did more research and created some new concepts. This is a snapdragon flower. If you cross a red flower with a white flower, it makes a pink flower. This is the concept of incomplete dominance, where the dominant allele does not dominate completely over the recessive allele. This results in specimens with a heterozygous genotype having a phenotype in between that of the homozygous dominant and recessive. Therefore, while big R is red, and little r is white, big R little r is pink.
Ich verstehe.
Oh, it seems I left him in the last slide. Hang on. This is blood. Note the spikes. There is the concept of codominance, where there are 2 dominant alleles that, when expressed together, form a phenotype with both traits. You can see this based on the look of the spikes. The allele for spikes is dominant and the allele with no spikes is recessive. The square spikes and the circular spikes are 2 different dominant alleles. When both dominant alleles are expressed, both types of spikes appear.
Faszinierend.
A chromosome can be thought of as a set of genes. All the alleles that an individual has is expressed in these chromosomes. This is a picture of the average human's chromosomes. The picture is called a karyotype. Note that all the chromosomes are in pairs except for the one at the end, that is the sex chromosome. Women have XX and men have XY. Alleles can be on the sex chromosome, in which they are on the X chromosome and are X-linked. This makes men more prone to getting the trait, as it only takes 1 copy of the allele on the X chromosome to be affected. Whereas for women, if the allele causing the trait is recessive, they must have 2 affected X chromosomes to express the trait. It must be getting hard for you to breathe in here, so let's get out of the blood. This is a diagram called a pedigree. It is basically a drawing of the family tree of a person. A square is a male and a circle is a female. The shape is filled in when they have the trait and is left blank when they don't have the trait. This is used by many professionals working genetics to determine how certain traits are inherited.
Wissen wir, wie sich diese Gene zu Allelen verbinden?
Yes. You know that one allele comes from the mother and one allele comes from the father. In order to accomplish this, two specialized cells must come together. These cells are called gametes. The gametes have half the chromosomes of a normal cell, so that when two of them come together, they form a full set of chromosomes. In humans, the male gamete is the sperm, and the female gamete is the egg. In order to create these gametes, the cells in the gonads, testes and ovaries, must undergo a process called meiosis. We have studied many phases of meiosis, but exactly what happens in each phase is not important. The important part is that one diploid, normal amount of chromosomes, cell creates 4 haploid, half the normal amount, cells. Now that I have shown you everything, I think you're ready for a career in genetics. Also, I don't know how to get you back, so you might as well figure out a life here. There are many careers that you can choose from. Genetic counselors assess the risk of someone passing a hereditary condition to their child. DNA analysts collect DNA samples and analyze them to obtain information. Biomedical engineers design mechanical devices that interact with biology. The possibilities truly are endless in this world.
Ich glaube, ich würde gerne ins Kloster zurückkehren. Ich möchte noch einmal versuchen, zertifizierter Lehrer zu werden, aber ich scheitere immer wieder an der Prüfung. Vielleicht ist es in Zukunft einfacher?
A teacher of genetics?
Vielleicht.